Russell Baker is a Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist of the New York Times. Throughout this story, he tells of his life living through the Great Depression and World War II. There are many difficulties during this time, and he explains them throughout the course of this biography. The story begins in a retirement home. Russell is an adult at the time and wonders why it is that children don't want to know about their parents' past and what they went through. He watches his mother and begins the story of how his parents met. He says that the marriage between his mother and father was not approved by his family and begins to tell us of his life story. Russell was born August 14, 1925, in the small town of Morrisonville, Virginia. His father was a handsome, hard-drinking stonemason, and his mother was a schoolteacher. The town of Morrisonville was small, but the population was even smaller. There wasn't much to do in this town. There were houses and a lot of dirt roads. He lived here with his mother and sisters and father, and aunts and uncles and grandparents until the age of 5. One day, when Russell was 5 years old, he was playing with his sisters by the lake. One of his cousins came to him and told him his father has died. He was devastated, and they were forced to leave Virginia. After the death of his father, they moved to Belleville, New Jersey to live with his mother's brother and wife in their apartment. There was one thing they had to leave behind in Morrisonville: his youngest sister, Audrey. His mother felt they would not be able to give her a good life, so she gave her to Russell's aunt and uncle to live her life in a good home with a good family. His mother knew she would not be able to take care of her, so this was the only solution. Audrey would live a happy and healthy life with Russell's aunt and uncle, but they would be known to her as Mom and Dad. Russell's mother knew she would be given everything she deserved and needed in her life. Russell's first job to help make money for his family was to sell the Saturday Evening Post. At the same time of selling these magazines, he wrote a short composition that was graded with an A. His mom was always asking him what he wanted to be when he grew up, and with these two things put together, his mother decided that a writer would be a good idea for him to be, and he agreed. During their time in New Jersey was also a time called the Great Depression. This Great Depression was caused by a stock market crash, and it made it difficult to find jobs and earn money for people everywhere. The only source of income Russell and his family had was from his uncle. After many years of living in a small apartment with many people, Russell and his family saved enough money to move from New Jersey to Baltimore, Maryland, and buy a house. However, there was a time where they didn't even have enough money to buy food. They went to a center where they gave out food to people who didn't have enough money to buy some. Russell and his family filled up a wagon to bring home. He was so embarrassed by what he was doing, he covered the wagon with his jacket, even though it was freezing cold weather outside. His mother realized what he was doing and did the same thing to help him. At one point in time, Russell became confused about his career. He wasn't sure if he was qualified enough to be a writer, so he decided when he was done with school, he would become a pilot in the Army and go to war. However, before he enlisted in the Army, he realized writing was the only thing that interested him and that he was good at. Well, we all know how the story ends. He becomes a writer. But did he ever go to the Army? And how did he become so well known by people all over the country? Within everyone's life, we are faced with difficult decisions about our lives and where we want to be. But that's just a part of growing up. Growing Up by Russell Baker.